Shalom, and you're now locked in here at Israelite Talk TV, where you get nothing but the raw and the real whenever I'm in front of the camera. So make sure y'all show the page some love, like, subscribe, and share.
You and Jook were good friends, you know, and you got picked up first. And how come you think Jook didn't get picked up? If they were accusing Jook of the same thing with probably the same evidence.
With more evidence.
More evidence.
Yeah. So the reason, I think it was strategic. I think they picked me up and arrested me. And the plan was to apply as much pressure as they could on me. Thinking that I would, know something to tell and give up everything.
And talking about, and I'm not asking you what someone said, but we talked about cooperating defendants in this case, one of which you met with was Hernandez Govan.
Correct.
On at least 2 occasions, correct?
Correct.
And he came in and gave you information about this case?
That's correct.
And he also did that, he had an attorney present, right?
Yes.
And he did that pursuant to an agreement, right, where he had protections, something called a proffer agreement, where he got to come in and say what he wanted to say without his words being used against him. Isn't that correct?
Correct. He had a proffer.
Right.
Do you remember telling Uncle Ron, your brother Quez, and all that, prior to all this, that after it happened, that Govan is a federal snitch and he had put sort of a listening device in your jacket?
Oh yeah, I remember saying.
Okay.
She had nothing to say, she text me about it. She had nothing to say, she text me about a Bears game. I mean, I just so already, you just replace them out. I'm Luciano, need the fans, on my fan page. I showed you the hustle, you made something out of it. You looked at it, I knew. Hey, you worry about me like I'm on the road with myself. I've been there with the mob, it's like people in the field. Hold up on my action, I'm just in the brothers. I don't give a fuck if they tell it. As a cost of being a captain, at the cup just like I'm bragging. I'm a dream man, told me Taylor.
Sheesh.
She getting that big, man. She got something in my head. She come in and say stop flagging. She ain't wanna say something at me. And he wanna bring up private. It's property in her trenches. She used to it, so it's average. Excuse me, man. She got nothing to say.
She touched me by the Bears game. Let's rest me out. Think the feds from my Fed page. Boy, they better leave Lucky alone, man. They better leave that boy alone. Welcome back to another episode here on Israelite Talk TV. And family, I'm coming to you guys with another quick banger. Now, real quick, as you guys can see, I'm getting ready to get into traffic. Go pop out at the barbecue, you know what I'm saying? Do what these boys don't be doing, you know what I'm saying? Be outside in traffic with this shit, you know what I'm saying? And before I get going, what I want to do is I want to do a quick video, right, on Mr. Glockavelli, right, and the PRE members, because your boy, Mr. Hernandez Govan, right, AKA Detective McGruff, Mr. Take a Bite Out of Crime, right, is at it again. He's on the net. He's debriefing on them members. And I'm coming to shut that boy down as I always do. Now, y'all let me know if y'all like the opener, right? I think going forward, anytime I do any type of dealing on this Dolph case, that's going to be my opener, right? Because this guy is running around like he didn't rat in the young Dolph case, right? You gave the police information and you entered into a proffer, and he running around talking about some, you guys, this joker running around talking about some, they wanted me to tell, they wanted me to do this and that, da-da-da-da-da. Bruh, you told. You gave information on the case, bruh. Like, why would you have to enter into a proffer if you had nothing to do with the case and all this other shit, right? So it's all cap, it's all theater, right? So now he's running around debriefing, right? And he's telling these stories, right? And I'm gonna explain to you guys why he's telling these stories. But he talked about Yo Gotti Rolls Royce getting shot up. He said the guy shot up 60 times, right? He's telling this story about Key Glock, Mr. Glockavelli, right? Spitting on Big Sister, right? At the airport. He was at the airport and this shit went down. He spit on Big Sister, right? Now, I know that you guys have saw these videos, right? But what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to play the videos just for context sake. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you some commentary on why Detective McGruff is saying these things now. Let's run the tape.
He knew what happened prior to that. So yeah, I could speak on it, and he did and gone. So yeah, if he knew what had just happened to Yo Gotti. So there is no way that I would have been riding around here like that, and I knew what just happened to Yo Gotti, and the Yo Gotti that everybody know, he probably going on his lick back.
And when you say what happened to Yo Gotti, man, can you inform our viewers what you mean by that?
Definitely, because a lot of people don't know what happened. Gotti was in town for a family function, family event, and he was in his Rolls Royce truck, and Insanity pulled up on the side of him, and they let out about 60 rounds into his Rolls Royce truck, but he was bulletproof, and I got it. He ain't gonna do no social media or he ain't report the crime, and that, so it kind of went under the radar. But they knew about it with the detectives and stuff. They knew because it's in our discovery. Yeah.
So Glock and Juke on the same plane in November.
In November, same month, Dolph get killed.
This before or after?
Before.
Okay.
Dolph get killed, and some things were said, and to be fair, Juke started it. Juke said something to Glock first. He said something to Glock, and Glock said something back, and they was sort of face to face. And, Glock surprised Juke and probably whoever else was in close proximity of this situation. And I hate to see it, or whatever, but it is what it is. But he spit in Juke's face.
Oh, shut the front door.
Yeah, he spit in Juke's face, and this shit in black and white. It's in our discovery, Yeah, they know about it. The whole city know about it.
Hold on. Key Glock spit in Yo Gotti brother face.
He did that. He caught Juke off guard. Juke, he did that. He did that. And it ain't, what I'm saying? Of course, I would never say nothing to try to make Juke, what I'm saying, look bad or whatever, but it's the truth. I mean, if I'm arguing with a nigga and what I'm saying, and in my heart I feel like I'm him and I don't know what he thinking, technically a nigga could spit in my face.
So hold on, let me ask you, because it's a difference between like we talking and then some spit accidentally come out of my mouth.
No. Glock did the unthinkable.
Intentional.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he did.
So now, you guys heard that, right? Now, Detective McGruff has been employed and deployed by Yo Gotti in order to be the CMG, the family publicist, right? And his job is to go out into the media and tell these stories, right? In hopes to gain some type of sympathy. He's out here to try to clean up and revive the Gotti family name, right? Because what you guys got to understand is that the industry loves Gotti, right? The industry loves his dirty draws. They love him to death, right? But it doesn't matter, because when it comes to the public opinion, the streets is with Dolph, right? It's PRE for life, right? Everybody pretty much everybody, when it comes to that street shit, they riding with Dolph, right? And this is what matters, because whenever these guys drop these albums, like right now, Gotti could drop an album, right? We know he gonna fluff up the sales and put money into it to make it seem like he's sell to try to save face, but the people are not gonna buy it. See, it's all about the consumers. Do the consumers want it or do the consumers don't want it, right? And so this is why Detective McGruff is out here with these stories trying to clean up the Gotti family name, right? But now, what is the problem with this angle that he's trying to attack? That, oh, if Dolph would have just did this, he should have knew that Gotti was going to want to get some get back after his Rolls Royce and all this other shit got shot up, and Key Glock spit on Big Juke, so they should have knew that this was going to happen. What is the problem with this angle, you guys? Let's run the tape.
And you and Bobby did the first shooting of Wu when you guys had a shootout with Mr. Wu. Is that correct?
Yeah, me, Bob, and Justin, and we got Mr. Govan gave me his gun.
Okay.
Gun.
So now Govan gave you the gun. I understand that. Was Treon Ingram also there for that shooting?
I don't know none of them folks. I don't know none of them.
How many people were there all together at the first shooting of Wu?
At the shooting,
At the shooting.
At the house, at Mr. Govan's house.
Okay, let's try this again. You went with Bobby Carter and you said Justin was already there.
We all met up at Mr. Govan's house. And me and Bobby jumped in one vehicle, and Justin and another guy was in another.
All right. So when they asked you before, now there's a fourth guy that was going to do the shooting with you guys, right? It's you, Justin, Bobby, and a fourth person you don't know. Okay. So you guys drove off and found Wu and had a shootout.
Yeah, he had told us Wu was at the house, Mr. Govan.
So Mr. Govan knew exactly where Wu was at the date and the time.
Where Wu stayed at.
Okay, so did you shoot up his house?
Nah, like I said, the gun had jammed up. I was on foot walking up, and he was coming at the house. And the gun Mr. Govan had gave me had jammed up. And I had to jump behind the tree, and Bob was trying to get to me.
Okay. Were you ever charged with the attempted murder of Wu?
No.
By the state?
No.
But you told them that you tried to kill somebody and the gun jammed up, but they didn't charge you with a conspiracy or attempted murder or anything?
Yeah, no police didn't. Like, that was street stuff. Ain't nobody attempt, like, he shot back. Like, it was a shootout. After that, it was immunity.
That's how this shit happened. But I ain't no buddy gun jam. My gun ain't jammed, though. But that's exactly how this shit happened. Exactly how he said it in court. Walking past, I was coming down, and I was going to my car, they got the shoes, Wu shot back, had them bobbing and weaving. Shit, it was him, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And so, like, at that time, because you walked out of the house with the gun in your hand, like,
for sure.
What was going on that had you walking like that? Like, you was prepared for some shit. Almost like you knew some shit was going to happen.
That's how you got to be on point around that motherfucker. You got to be ready. At all times, you feel me? Like, I was usually walking out the house with two guns. You feel me? Big gun, little gun. But so happened that day,
So now, as you guys can see, right? What Detective McGruff is forgetting is that it came out in the trial, beloved, that you sent Cornelius Smith, Bobby Carter, straight drop, okay, and your boy, Mr. Ingram, right, to go take out Paper Route Wu, right? Grasp, right? So you sent the murder team to go try to murder Paper Route Wu, and them boys froze up, man. Paper Route Wu was making that thing cough, man. Cornelius Smith over here, he done jammed, you done give him a rusty thing, he done jammed up, he over here, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. So you telling me that, I mean, if we gonna tell the story, let's tell the story. You was trying to collect the bounty, right? And you sent the squad, the murder squad, to try to take out a Paper Route member, Paper Route Wu, which Paper Route Wu confirms that it happened, but yet You trying to make it seem like, oh, well, Gotti shit was shot up. So if Gotti shit was shot up and Glock did spit on Big Sister, they did a good job, right? Only thing where they fucked up at is that if they shot this Rolls Royce up, they should have had the AP rounds in there. You dig what I'm saying? And that would have got the job done, right? And so these are things that ones have to understand, right? Y'all gotta understand that whenever they get Gotti, Black Youngster, and Detective McGruff, man, we gonna celebrate. The bottles is ready, the champagne is ready, right? We got plenty of recording time where we can record and drop videos. We're waiting. When them boys get gunned down in a hell of bullets, we're waiting to blog on this shit, right? We're waiting. We got everything ready to go. You dig what I'm saying? And see, as you guys just saw, they just gave Cornelius Smith 20 years, right? And we're going to talk about that later on this week, right? I got a video that's coming that may shine some light into why they gave Mr. Cornelius Smith 20 years, right? But it's some wild shit that's going on down there in Memphis, and we got to talk about it, right? But we're not going to do it today. But the bottom line is Detective McGruff is full of shit. Even when this joker said, remember he spoke about the murder meeting when Cornelius Smith came through there? Let's run the tape.
Juke is at your house. Is Straight Drop at your house also?
Correct.
Okay, and you guys are talking about potentially a deal with CMG.
Yes. We were basically at my house. Juke was telling us how to promote the music, how to get Justin the type of buzz that was needed to actually sign to the label. Just all music business, you know, just giving us the, you know, the inside and out about how to, you know, move this thing forward as fast as we could.
Okay. But then at one point, Cornelius Smith showed up at the house as well.
Correct. Yeah, Cornelius Smith. I met Cornelius Smith through an associate of mine named Bobby Carter. When I was released from prison, I bought a house on my grandmother's street in Orange Mound where I grew up, and I met Cornelius through Bobby. And so on this particular night when we were having the music meeting, it was a knock at the door. And I went to the door and it was Cornelius. And I was under the impression that he just wanted some X bills or whatever like he normally did. So I told him to come back later. I was trying to get a deal signed for Drop. And he was like, no, it's important. So I stepped outside and that's when he mentioned to me, he was like, man, they ain't trying to do nothing about Dolph trying to kill Gotti. So at that point, I never heard of that incident. You know, I heard of it. If you reverse it, I done heard of it that way, you know, the attempted hits on Dolph, but at that point, I hadn't heard anything about someone trying to do anything to Gotti. Mm-hmm. And I told him that wasn't my business, and I wasn't finna go back in and mention something to Juke that he hadn't said anything to me about. And so I just left it at that. Mm-hmm. And went back in and finished discussing the music.
Straight Drop with Cornelius and Big Juke.
Correct.
But you guys were already talking about music stuff anyways.
Yeah, if any communication that I had with Justin was solely about music, I mean, of course I'm gonna have communications with him. I'm trying to get him signed.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, and that's dead on that.
So guys, did you guys hear that? So when this guy's sitting up here talking about, oh, Cornelius Smith is just this pill junkie. He don't know what he talking about, this and that, bruh. You sent him to go murder Paper Raul. It's documented, man. It's in black and white. It's in the paperwork. Your lawyer confirmed this shit in the trial that you basically sent them to go murder Paper Raul. Only thing, Paper Raul didn't press any charges or anything. So it's just, you know what I'm saying? But it shows that you sent Cornelius Smith, Straight Drop, Mr. Ingram, right? And we're going to talk about that Covington shooting too, right? Because guys, I don't know what these guys are doing down here in Memphis, right? And we're going to talk about this in my next video, but the Covington shooting was also tied to the young Dolph shooting, right? And basically, we're not getting too far in depth of what happened down there. It was a mistaking of identity down there, but it was tied to the young Dolph case. And I'm going to explain to you guys how that murder, I mean, that shooting and shit down there was tied to the young Dolph case, right? So these people have a mountain of evidence, right? They never arrested Big Juke, never arrested Gotti. So we gotta ask these people down here, what the hell is going on? I mean, how much more evidence do you need to charge somebody? You know what I'm saying? All this shit that came out in the trial that they claim, you know, we know they done doctored some of this shit up, right? Because Big Jook go on and try to dump everything on Big Jook. But the point of the matter is, if y'all had all this information on Big Jook, why wasn't Big Jook or Gotti ever arrested, right? It ain't just Big Jook, it's Gotti too, right? Why were none of these guys arrested? You know what I'm saying? And here's the deal. If I'm Young Dolph family, right, the civilians, right, I will be down there pressing the feds. You dig what I'm saying? Because these people, these prosecutors in there working these deals and doing all of this shit, they need to be brought to justice. Fuck what motherfuckers talking about. Either y'all gonna enforce the law or y'all ain't. Y'all got Dirk locked up on some bullshit. Y'all had way more evidence on Gotti and Jill. You know what I'm saying? Look what the hell just happened down here in Florida with Fulio murder. Those people got life. And they cooperated. You dig what I'm saying? This nigga done killed Young Dolph at Makita's and he done walked out of here with 20 years, really 15 years, because he done a glove already. You dig? Like, what the fuck is going on down here, right? So we got to make sure we hold these people feet to the fire. The other thing is this too, you guys. If I'm Young Dolph family, I would sue Memphis, right? I would sue Memphis because of negligence, right? Y'all claim that Big Jook did all of this shit, but Big Jook was never arrested in the Young Dolph murder. And what y'all gotta understand, you guys, is that when they picked up Hernandez Govan, right? When they picked up Detective McGruff and your boy Jamarcus Johnson, right? Big Jook was still at large. Big Jook didn't die until the next year, until when the trial and shit was getting ready to start. You dig what I'm saying? Well, no, Big Jook didn't get killed till a year later. They got picked up, I believe it was in 2022, and Big Jook died a year later. So at that time, you guys, they had the phone from Jamarcus Johnson, and when they asked your boy Paulie about we saw payment, do we know where payment is coming from? They knew that was Big Jook. So they say in the trial. So why wasn't Big Jook ever arrested if they had all of this information when they picked up Hernandez Govan and Jamarcus Johnson, the last two to be arrested on the case? Big Jook was at large for a whole year. And they had the bulk of this information when they picked up Cornelius Smith on December 9th, like damn near almost a few weeks later after the actual murder happened. So what the fuck is they doing down there? Who the fuck do they think they fucking with? And remember, I told y'all, I did the video breaking down how Steve Mulroy was put in office by Rock Nation. You guys, if you haven't saw that video, go watch that. So it's a lot of shady dealings, a lot of shady business that's going on down there in Memphis. And we're going to talk about that. We're just not going to talk about it today. But yeah, you guys, we got to stop this joker, right? And listen, Detective McGruff, you can do all the cleaning. You can try to scrub as much as you want. You're not, listen, the Dolph sector is strong, bruh. You dig what I'm saying? Young Dolph died the king of Memphis. You can try to talk all this shit as you want, all this, all this theater. We not trying to hear that shit, bruh. It's showing what type of motherfucker you really is, man. You listen, think about this. He keep talking about, oh well, Yo Gotti, Gucci mad cause Yo Gotti fucked Keisha, right? Dior, right? What about Young Dolph fucking Gotti baby mama at the same hotel for 3 weeks, you guys? Why ain't he talking about that? All this shit about Gucci and Keisha and Gotti, he mad cause of this and that. What about Dolph fucking Keisha, not Keisha, but fucking Yo Gotti's baby mama, the one out there in Cali right now, you did? At the same hotel for 3 weeks. Let's talk about that, okay? Okay, the other thing is this, right? Let me help you out with this and we're gonna wrap this up. Now, Detective McGruff keep talking about this shit about Gotti fucking Keisha Dior, right? Here's the whole thing with all of this shit, right? It's stupid for him to keep bringing this shit up. You know why? Because Keisha Dior is a real go-getter. Gucci left her with some bread and she multiplied and she didn't help build the empire, making power plays. I believe she was caught up in some shit where I think she hit a lick or something on Plaza and his brothers or some shit like that. I don't know the whole story on all of that, but I've heard chatter about that. So Keisha Dior's with the shit. What about Angela Simmons, you guys? This bitch done suck Yo Gotti dry, you guys. And he talking about some, oh, now that the women know he's single, they back, because they know he's stupid. They know he can be juiced, he can be drained. He ain't a real one, bruh. Listen, what real value did Angela Simmons bring Yo Gotti the time that they was fucking around with each other? Did she build a brand? What did she do? All I saw her doing was baking muffins and all this other bullshit. And then she sat down on that, she did that interview where she was talking about how men need to be paying and dropping. She's a spoiled brat. Come on, bruh. Excuse me, she ain't no real go-getter, bruh. You spent all this time with Angela Simmons and you let her go with nothing to show, right? She was taking your ass down like the Titanic, bruh. So, I mean, it would have been smart for Gotti to keep Keisha Dior, you know what I'm saying? But just to say, okay, I knocked her off and did all this and da-da-da-da, and that woman then turned around and bought Gucci bank rolls, truckloads of money. It's madness to me, you guys. So leave y'all thoughts below on this. But yeah, Key Glock, okay, cutthroat committee, spit on big sister at the airport or on the plane, let them know you's a hoe, you know what I'm saying? Just like your brother, Yo Gotti, Ho Gotti, right? You's a hoe, spit on him. You did what I'm saying, what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Glock, right? You know what I'm saying? And then according to him, there's a lot of speculations on whether this Rolls Royce was shot up or if it's all cap, you know what I'm saying? Because they were saying that big juke car got it was a whole bunch of shit with that. So this ain't been confirmed, you guys. Think about this. If Yo Gotti Rolls Royce actually got shot up, right? Why wouldn't he make the police report to cash it in and do all this other shit? I mean, after all, the information was in the motion of discovery, right? And this is something else we're going to talk about. We're not going to do it today, but according to Detective McGruff, all this information was in their discovery, right? But they hid this at the trial about Yo Gotti involvement in the Young Dolph murder, right? So y'all stay tuned when I talk about the Yo Gotti RICO that's coming. We're going to dive more in depth into this subject of the Rolls Royce being shot up and the shit with Key Glock spitting on him, because according to Detective McGruff, this was in their discovery. But this never came out at trial. I'm signing off here on Israelite Talk.